Hi guys, thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel and Facebook page. My name is Councillor Cllr Crouch. I'm Conservative Councillor for Worthing's Marine Ward and member of the Planning Committee. The video for this evening is for the Planning Committee from last week, which was the, I shall check the date, the 10th of December, and the number of juicy items on the agenda, so I will cut to the chase and get on with it. First item on the agenda was that of the Cllr development. Lots and lots and lots of coverage of the proposal for the Cllr development in the press, on social media, and I think there's a campaign that's been set up around it. James Appleton, who is the head of planning, gave a brief statement to the public gallery, which was full, which is lovely. Please come along. They're public meetings. It's great to see members of the public. But these guys had come along, I think there were some camera people outside as well, to ask about the development, because it's caused a lot of concern. Lots of people are very worried about the development. It's important for planning members, such as myself, to keep an open mind. So I try and follow the facts rather than get too drawn up in the inertia that can sometimes surround some of these campaigns. It's a bit like petitions. You know, sometimes someone will thrust a petition, you sign it, just they go away. But this particular campaign is concerned about what is being proposed for the Cllr site. At the moment, my understanding, and this is I think what James Appleton said, is that there is a planning application that has been received by the planning officers. And what tends to happen is the applicant puts in their plan, and pretty much you can apply for anything. You know, you could put in an application to, you know, put flamethrowers on the front of the town hall if you so wished. And then the officers will look at it, they will consult the relevant local policies, the national planning policy framework, and they will negotiate. So basically, for example, hypothetically, if a developer says, right, I want to build a 500-foot tower with, you know, chrome and brass mixed together with a green roof and polka dots down the side, the planning officers say, sure, great, no problem. No, I'm joking. They say, not sure that's really in keeping with this policy, the planning framework, it's out of keep, it's too big, it's too small, it's too wide, it's too thin, it's whatever. And they negotiate. And eventually, after a period of time and after consulting with members of the public, you get, if you like, an agreed application. So the developer's happy that it can go forward, and the planning officers are like, yeah, we think this can work, we'll put it forward, and the planning committee, i.e. people like me, and all the other planning members, can vote on it. And that is the democratic process. Where we are currently is the first bit, they're negotiating. And what worries me slightly is that information isn't being conveyed completely correctly. So anyone watching this who's worried that the tower is all been approved and it's happening, it hasn't been approved. Nothing's happening yet. It's all up for debate, and there will be a meeting in the new year, and I look forward to looking at the plan and going through it on the day. And it will be a decision on the day by your elected officials, open meeting, public gallery, come along, speak against it, speak in favour of it, do what you fancy. But it will be there, and it is a real, genuine committee that make real decisions based on representations that you guys make, our own research, our own views, and obviously the information that's put forward as evidence from the planning officers and the applicant. So that'll be fun. I look forward to that in the new year, yeah, that should be a good one. Anyway, onto the agenda of the 10th of December. There was a number of items on it, so I'll get on the case. The order that they were done in, the first one was a change of use for Queen's Lodge Guest House in Queen's Road in Worthing. That was a change of use from a guest house, a B&B, into an HMO, so a house of multiple occupation. HMOs, I don't think, from my layman's perspective, have a great reputation. I think people think HMO, they think of something out of The Young Ones, you know, lots of students are squatting in a building that's all falling apart. And I think that did happen. I think there were some terrible, real horror stories to do with HMOs. But the applicant in this case certainly didn't appeal anything like Alexi's sale in The Young Ones, and you know, had some really good suggestions and proposals for what they were going to do with Queen's Road. However, the committee was not convinced that there was a case either way. Really, there wasn't enough information. There was a case, but there wasn't enough information, and there was conflict. There was sort of local residents, local councillors, local PCSOs were sort of saying, we've got loads of these HMOs in Heen Ward. We've got lots of challenging people in Heen Ward, lots of alcohol and substance misuse. ASB is high, and apparently, according to Councillor Paul High, Worthing's Heen ward is one of the most deprived wards in the country. I think it's in the top 10, top 20. So pretty bad. This application was tossed around a bit, but the general consensus was there wasn't enough information. It was deferred. I'm not a fan of deferring unless there's a really good reason, and I abstained on this one because I didn't think there was a good reason. I thought there was enough information to make the decision, but it was deferred for some more information on, I think, the crime stats, the policing information, and things like that to come forward. So that will come back again, but it was deferred, and we shall see what happens with that one. Right, next one on the agenda was the Priory Rest Home, South Street in Tarring. At the moment, I didn't even know it was there. You've got a rest home, kind of hidden really, around the back of South Street. Kind of a nice Victorian building, I guess, in a bit of a state. Hasn't been occupied for a while, so they're not closing a rest home and kicking out some lovely old folk, but it needs to be knocked down and rebuilt. The application property, so it's demolition of existing 41-bed care home and erection of a 60-bedroom car home, according to the agenda. So it's a car home. I think that's a typo. I thought the design sucked. Didn't like it at all. I said in the meeting that it looked like a Lego brick dropped from space, and that was being damn polite because it was awful. Councillor Cloak said that it was brutalist post-modern. It was nasty. It really was nasty. But luckily it's going to be screened, so not much of it will be visible, which was pretty much its only redeeming feature in my view. The facility is going to be fantastic, don't get me wrong. It's great. You know, it's wonderful to have good, high quality accommodation for older people, for people with health, mental health, physical problems. Great. But the design was really naff. It was just, well, it was just blocks, square blocks, and it really did have very little appeal to me. So I voted against that one because on design grounds, but it was passed anyway. But I didn't like that at all, and I really thought it swore at the area. It was going to be obscured, but you will see it. But it's a trade-off, I guess. The facility will be good, the design not so much. But a bit of a waste opportunity there, I think. But the officers assure me that the materials that it's going to be made out of, hopefully not material, not fabric, but nice wood and stuff like that. Hopefully it'll look good, but didn't think much of the design. And when I was elected, I did promise that I would, if I was on planning, I would, you know, do things that would be sympathetic to the local character. That was about as sympathetic as a brick in the face. So, not a fan of that one. And the final one was another one that was a little bee in my bonnet, which was 33 Selden's Way, which is the erection of a two-storey and two-bed house in the garden to the west of another property, including external works and pedestrian access. This one was deferred, another deferral from September, maybe. Shouldn't have been deferred, in my view. There was no need for it to be deferred. From memory, the committee deferred it to go back and ask the applicant if they mind sharing their driveway, rather than having no driveway. And I thought that we should have just voted on the proposal that was in front of us, rather than kind of be a little bit parental and go, we'll go and ask if you can do that. So that came back. There had been some work done with West Sussex to sort of assess the parking situation. Parking's always a pain. There isn't enough of it in England, in the country. I've had relatives that live in Stone Lane. Yeah, it can be difficult, but no more difficult than anywhere else, to be perfectly honest. So that was passed, and it should have been passed months ago. So I think that was a bit of a waste of time. And whilst I don't think planning committee members should be gung ho, I think we need to be we need to trust ourselves. We need to trust the information. We need to trust our own views and actually look at what's in front of us and read the damn reports. Because quite often it's, ooh, we'll defer it, and it just makes a decision, pushes the decision back. So that was passed, which was the right thing that should have happened months ago. And finally, I'm running out of voice here. I think I'm coming down with the virus. Titnall Lane. This one makes me feel itchy. This is the land east of Titnall Lane in West Durrington, kind of known as the West Durrington development. It looks great. I'll say that now. I may regret it if it goes wrong, but it looks great. I think it's going to be a really, really positive thing for Worthing. It's 700 new homes and 3 developers who I forget the name of, but 3 developers, and it looks like they're going to build some really nice housing. There seems to be some nice gardens, some nice landscaping. It's got character. The developers, despite being different, are working together, so each area has its own distinct character, and I'm genuinely really excited for that because I think it will bring much needed housing to our town, and actually the development looks like something that, dare I say, we may be proud of. But there's a bit of an ish with the, dare I say it, parking arrangements. A little bit ahead there. Not parking arrangements as such. You've got one road in and one road out. I'll try and share a link to what it'll look like. But you imagine it's kind of like a bowl shape, and you've got this main avenue. It's a bus route, it's the main road in, and for various reasons, despite its 700 homes, it's one road in, one road out. And it's a big enough road, but the problem is West Sussex, in order to put in things like double yellow lines, need evidence. There needs to be a problem. So basically, you go outside your house, there's always double parking, you apply to the council, they go, oh yeah, there's a problem, have some double yellow lines. With a new development, where we are at the moment, what West Sussex are saying is, be fine, don't worry. Don't you worry your pretty little head, Worthing Borough Council, everything will be fine and dandy. There's tons of parking, you can have 6 buses going down the road, side by side, don't worry your pretty little heads, everything will be alright. Rubbish is what I say to that one. Everybody knows that there isn't enough parking. I refer you back to my previous comments in the last video. Borough councillors generally know their areas pretty well. Michael Cloak knows his area pretty well. Kevin Jenkins knows his area pretty well. Diane Guest knows her area very well. And I think I know my area pretty well. Put 700 homes with maybe 1,400 cars on a good day, plus visitors, plus people working, plus this, plus that, you get a lot of cars. Now, you've got a main road. If you're going to have visitors who come to visit you, which is what visitors do, where are they going to park? They're going to park outside if there's no double yellows. Now, that's fine. Double yellow lines, no double yellow lines. So no double yellow lines, bus comes along, they're weaving around, trying to get around all these cars, and it's going to be a nightmare. Pretty much everybody in the committee agrees it's going to be a nightmare. But we're really at this sort of big impasse where West Sussex are just saying, no, you can have it once it's put in. Now, I've worked in housing for 4 years, and my experience of putting in parking restrictions is put it in early. Put it in when they put the road down, so that when the first person moves in, everyone knows you can't park there, you just can't. You get used to it, you plan accordingly, or you don't buy it. You think, no, there's not enough parking for me, I'm not going to buy it. But they're not going to do that. They're really digging their heels in and saying, no, you can have it once it's up. Which is the wrong approach. It's setting that development up for problems, and it's setting up Worthing Borough Council for a parking problem, and local councillors for a problem in having angry residents either being angry that there's parking out the front and it's dangerous and the bus keeps on getting stuck, or angry residents that get more cross when West Sussex say we want to put in double yellows now, and they've been used to parking their visitors out the front. So, not that they will be, because they're far too busy crushing the dreams of our planning committee. But if West Sussex County Council, if their Highways Division are watching this, please listen to the borough councillors who have got no interest. You know, we don't own a big yellow paint factory and we're trying to flog off a load of paint cheap. We just know from experience, that this will be a problem. So please listen to us, trust us on this one, because we're pretty confident that you guys have got it wrong. So yeah, the development is great. The parking with the double yellows will be great. Without the double yellows, I'll go on record now and say that I'm really, really concerned. I will eat my hat, but I'm really concerned. So please listen, West Sussex County Council. Love you, lovely people. So there we are. Anyway, won't waffle on. I've got one more video to do because it's full council yesterday, which was fun. So I'll do that shortly. Very sorry for this long, waffling, rambling video, but hopefully you found it interesting. I'm going to go for dinner now, and then I'm going to do the next video. But thank you for watching. Please share this video if it's interesting. If it's not interesting, don't tell anyone, because I could really do without the bad press. But thanks for watching. Please share, please follow, please like, please subscribe. Have a happy Christmas, and thank you for following my Facebook and YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Good evening.